What's up, Jojo Winter? Today is Sunday, January 15th, the day before we honor Martin Luther King and celebrate his life on Monday. All right, so what I'm doing right now is I'm going to go ahead and jump right into week 2. And you guys don't have to watch it today or tomorrow because you can observe this special day, but it's there for you to look at, okay? All right, so and I apologize for those of you we've been hitting you with emails. We've had quite a few people add the class. All right, so for those of you that are new to the class, certainly the best way to familiarize yourself with what you need to do to succeed in this class, obviously to get an A in this class, you just watch this video right here. I always double up in the announcements because when it goes out via phone, if you do it just this way, it doesn't happen, okay? So I send the link right here, okay, where it has not been transformed into a YouTube image in Blackboard, and that way you can see it on your phone. So do check that out, okay? All right, the other thing you do, of course, if you're new to the class, you're going to download the syllabus, okay? It's right there, all right? It explains everything with lots of deadlines, and then as a team, Julia is incredibly remarkable about just updating you and sending you out information, okay, about what you need to do and when things are due, and just keeping you on task. I know you guys are a text generation, and we do a lot of generational discussion in this class, but please check your emails because while you like to live based on texting, the business world is still email based, okay, with a little backup of texting when you need a nudge. But you really people get impatient with employees that do not respond to emails. So you got to check your emails. You'll see that there's due dates here that you should just kind of put into your phone. All right, get out your phone. Okay, put in your calendar. For the first little paper that's going to be looking at population analysis, where you're actually going to go mine some data from the World Data Bank is right in here. We'll go over that later. I'll provide a video on how to do that. You also have right here your midterms that you should put into your phone, and we'll explain that later. Also, if you're new to the class, go in here and there's a lot of information here that's useful, including what to do if you just added the class. Okay. Awesome. But basically, what every week I'm going to send you out a video like this, and it is going through the material together. Okay. So I encourage you to read the information and to sit there and study the imagery, the figures, because that's, you have to make it your own. But I'm giving you kind of a fast overview with these videos, all right? So we're going to go into this second week right here, okay? And I'm going to click on that a little harder. Here it comes, it's coming. There it is. Okay, so this video that you see right here is going to be placed right here in this second lecture, which is population aging, okay? And you scroll down here. This is a reading assignment. Again, I indicated to the class previously that this is a great kind of structural overview of the way the class is run. We then go do deep dives into each of these topics. We apologize that there is not a brand new publication put out by the National Institute on Aging that matches this, that looks really not just at our country, but globally, the implications. So this is, this article was done a while back, okay? And it was published in 2017, okay? But it relies on a lot of old data, okay? The other thing, and thank you for one of the students, they kind of gave us a heads up. There is this metric that USC is trying to obtain called accessibility. So originally we ran some of the files through this software that is supposed to make the files more accessible for the people that are reading or visually impaired. It basically does a little sidebar of all the articles, but the software, okay, is called RoboBraille, is not very good. And so what it did was is it corrupted the file. So we've gone through and we've gotten rid of that. If you have any file problems, you let us know. All right. All righty. Now, before we launch into this, I want to give you some background on some of the figures, and we're going to go back forth in that. Okay. So we're going to be discussing, as you can see here, we're going to look at changing family structure. We're going to look at the kind of a financial implications of having so many more older members in the population, looking at examples globally. We're going to reflect back on our country as well, the United States. We're going to look at the economic burden, in particular the social insurance systems, these programs of pensions, where you have guaranteed salary when you retire. And a lot of the old world countries, the ones that that had people get into a larger segment of the population being retirement age, we kind of mentioned, that in the first section. They didn't anticipate that people were going to live so long, and so they had these guaranteed pensions, these guaranteed salaries. Assuming people might die when they're in their late 60s or late 70s, because more and more people are living into their 90s and even 100s, and it's a long time to have a guaranteed salary. And so the only solution is to raise taxes. Okay, and so there's a lot of political upheaval because of that. And we're doing the same thing in our country as well. We have Social Security and Medicare, Medicare being the most expensive. So it's a big issue, okay? So this creates lots of economic challenges, and we'll talk about that. People need to work longer, et cetera, okay? So this is just looking at a few countries here in terms of, you look at the economic well-being of the country, okay? This is looking like money in and money coming out. The money in is, the profit that the country has. This is public and private sector, all the profit, okay? The better the private sector does, the stronger the tax basis. So it's called the gross domestic product. And then we have the outgoing expenditures, okay? And the big ones being for our country, Social Security, okay, Medicare, all right? And then we also have a lot of, outgoing expenditures like funding of the military, funding of the Congress, okay, funding of the Senate and things like that, okay? All right, so we see here that pensions, okay, this is this guaranteed salary. So it's a big percentage of the gross domestic product. Okay, again, this is looking backwards in time, looking at data. That's what we're talking about right here. Okay, even though it was done in 2017, they were looking backwards in time. So what we did is we looked at more relevant data, and again, 2019 is really good, okay, because it takes a long time to gather the data. And this is for the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, a big organization of countries. They have annual meetings. Our country's part of this. It's the OECD, okay. And you look over here. On this scale right here, okay? So we're looking on the y-axis, it says the public expenditures on pensions as a percentage of the gross domestic product, okay? So just like we saw over here, we saw Italy was an enormous percentage, whereas Ireland put into place kind of an incentive that you need to work longer, we're not going to pay for you. And that's where our country is headed as well. So you see countries like Greece and Italy and France, like I said, these very old world countries, sorry about that, they are saddled with this. And the only way to solve this is to delay retirement age, okay, until you're going to get this pension. And we're doing that now. We're slowly pushing ahead the age at which you get your maximum Social Security benefit, and the other way is to raise taxes. That's it. Money in and money out. Okay, so this is the average of all these cooperating countries. Okay, again, this organization right here that I was talking about, and this is where we stand here in the United States. Okay, so we're half to a third of kind of countries that are equal to us in terms of economic well-being, okay? And if we look further down here in our country, we look, again, at an analysis of participating countries, and we ask the question, public and private expenditures on pensions as a percentage of the gross domestic product, okay? So this is looking not just at government pensions, like a fireman gets, like all the city worker employees get, Congress gets a pension, and the Senate gets a pension, on and on and on. Police officers, okay. A lot of private companies like Bank of America. My friend worked for United Parcel Service or UPS. He got a pension, okay. So this is again money going out versus the money that is being made both by private entities and by public entities. And we see right here that again these older countries that are saddled by this pension system, as I said earlier, are predominantly public, okay? And so that means they're going to have to tax people. Our country is about 60-40 of public versus private pensions, okay? I wish I got a pension, but we're going to talk about what I do have, and this is me basically contributing my own money into my own retirement accounts, and so it's really up to me, okay? This gives you a little bit more explanation of what's going on. Like I said, these are the public pensions right here, firefighters, state college professors, there's teachers, on and on and on and on, okay? Private pensions, okay, like I said, Ford Motor Company, Bank of America, UPS, okay? Our Social Security is separate from this public pension system. It makes about 5%, makes up about 5% of the GDP. And Medicare is a huge percentage, and that we're going to talk about later on. Okay? All right, so that's what these are all about. So the problem is, okay, people are living longer, okay? And as a result, more and more people are entering into this post-retirement age where they can get income from the government, okay, like Social Security. And or you're one of these guys right here. You're a state college professor and you get a lifetime pension. You're a city manager for the city of Irvine. You get a lifetime pension. So the money has to come from somewhere. And this just shows you the evolution of this financing of the pension system and how difficult it has become. So in the 50s, 16 people through their payroll taxes, okay, through their Social Security costs and Medicare taxes, we're going to pay for every one person that was entering into retirement. By 1960, 5 to 1. By 2015, 3 to 1. You see, 2035, you see we're headed. For every one person, two people, the money has to be extracted from their paycheck and put into this transition system. Okay, it is not a money earning system, and so the financial system that pays our Social Security is right on teetering. Okay, in the next 10 years to being insolvent, and so the only way it's going to work is to raise taxes. Okay. All right, so that's important to think about as well. All right, so down here is the discussion, okay? And we'll get to that in later, but I just wanted to give you that primer before we actually go into the reading. And then I'll go a little more quickly through the reading, okay? All right, because it is somewhat redundant from what I wanted to say. I'm very figure oriented, okay? So again, what was it we're supposed to do? All right, that's right, we're supposed to go from Trend 6 because we went through Trend 5, all right? And for those of you new to the class, you look at the old video and we went through all this information together, okay? All right, cool. So that's what we're gonna do. And we're gonna go take a look at my PDF file that I just downloaded. All righty, we'll go like so. We're gonna go find Trend 6. We'll go all the way down here. And again, we looked at the global dynamics of aging in our previous lecture, okay? Boop, 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 for 5, okay? And remember, Russia wasn't good. So a big transition is happening, okay? It's more expensive to live, okay? People are living longer, okay? So what's happening? So we're seeing that the phase of development to be financially independent is growing. Okay, it's increasing in years in more developed countries because you have to develop a much more sellable skill set. Okay, especially if you're white collar, you want to use this up here. Right, so that means children are going to college, going to graduate school. They're delaying getting married. In fact, there's a significant percentage of people that are saying, "The heck with it, we're not going to get married." Okay. Then what's happening is fewer and fewer people are having kids. Instead of, back in my parents' era, the baby boom era, people, it was the trend was you would have, 6 kids, 4 kids, Um, and uh, and that was because we were a little bit more of an agricultural and industrial economy transition. Now we're super white collar. We don't need all those hands in the factories. We don't need all those hands out on the farms. And children are expensive. And so people are deciding to delay or not even have children at all. All right. So this results is indicated here very low birth rates. Okay. And we talked about earlier, if there's fewer people going into the workforce, that means the people that are there have to pay forward a lot more money for retirement, okay? And the other thing that happens, okay, when we're looking at this is that with this family structure, culturally, sorry, the United States is having to return back to our roots. Okay, when I say our roots, when we look at our immigration roots, okay, my Irish roots, okay, um, people that have come from Asia, people that have come from South America. The tradition was that we had this very extended family-based support system that we could rely on, and you would have multiple generations together. So the caregiving was shared. So you would have kids at a younger age. Grandma and grandpa would raise the kids while you went to work, okay? And then you would have both the kids and yourself that would be able to do the caregiving for grandma and grandpa, okay? What's happened is people are having children later in life because they have to get their financial act together, okay? And so now there's a greater burden being placed on fewer people. And then the second time thing that happens in a global economy, we're very, very mobile, okay? And so before people would, grow up in the community that they were most comfortable with, there was plenty of jobs, and they wouldn't leave the community. So there was a much greater likelihood of having families look out for each other. So that's disappearing, okay? And so that comes with some huge social and financial implications, okay? Can you afford some type of assisted living facility that's going to cost $20,000, $30,000 a year? If something happens and there are health complications in your parent or grandparent, can you afford the $70,000, $80,000, $90,000 a year that it would take to put them into a care system that has a lot more labor intensive, like a nursing facility? Okay, these are big deals. Big deals, okay? And then it goes over the population trends of, certainly people are getting divorced now, like I said, more often, and that changes things up. A lot of people are going childless, okay? And we see that, basically in modern societies, on average, and when this publication is done, 20% of women are not having children, but it's growing. In some countries, it's approaching 40% of women are not having children. It's a big deal in the rapidly aging countries like Japan and China, where people stopped having children, but you still have enormous numbers of people that are older that are dependent. Okay, so this is what they're talking about here. So you can read through this. I don't need to go there, but we're looking here at, again, we're always looking backwards in terms of accumulating data. And this is transitioning for over 40 years. And you just ask yourself, when we're looking at Japan, they remember we're the early country to make that transition of having more people that are retirement age and fewer people that can support them in terms of caregiving. And how do people live when they are over age 65? Okay, and we see living alone is green, living with a spouse is red, living with a married child or a relative, which is the old school way. Okay, this is the family collective, and like I said, we're going back to that because it's so expensive to buy a home. So if you can get a home, this is a big house, have multiple people living in the household. Both my children are transitioning right now. One's a senior in college, the other one got his master's degree, is looking for a job, and even then, he needs to accumulate wealth and be able to launch and be on his own. So these are big deals, and you guys are experience this on your own. So we see the transition here. Okay, you see that fewer and fewer people just in this short time frame. Okay, going from 1962,000 of living with a family member is going down, 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 down right here, okay? And then we come over here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go like this and make it smaller so you can see what I'm talking about there. And then we see, so this is going from 1960-2000, again, married, living with your kids, okay, or another relative, living with your spouse only. So this became more emergent, okay, living alone, okay, and living in an institution, which would be unheard of, okay, but it, in Japan before because of the family piety, but there's no choice because there's nobody left to help you out. So this is a big, big transition, all right? All right, so um, we, this shift also means that if you're going to be living alone, like we see here, okay, or you're living with a spouse, there's a good chance that you need finances to get it done. There's a shift in work and retirement, and our government keeps pushing back the age. Okay, so we're about 67 years of age, and that's in terms of getting full Social Security benefit. And there's going to be this transition where you're going to have to work longer and longer, expected to work longer, and you're going to be expected to do it more on your own. We're going to see how that's transitioning again, not only in our country but worldwide. Okay, so it's a big deal. Okay, it's a big deal, and we see right here we're looking at again globally. Okay, let's look at the European Union. Okay, and believe it or not, 55 was when people used to retire to European Union. Okay, but through politics, they've had to pull back on how much pension they give people. It's still expensive to live, so more and more men are having to work. Again, looking backwards in time, and this would continue to course upward right here. Okay, and even more so, more and more women, because women outlive men, and they have to figure out the way to finance their ability to live or survive. Okay. Alrighty. Now, which countries are in trouble? Okay, again, public pensions, okay, incentives to leave the labor force, okay? So the percentage of men age 55, 65 not working, okay? If you have a great pension system, okay, then why should I work? Okay, and so people leave a lot earlier than these countries compared to here, where there was not a great pension system in Japan. Ours is okay in the US, so people are expected to work longer, okay? That's what that's all about. So we have an evolution, a change in the Social Security system, okay? This is what we're looking at earlier that I was talking about. Again, these countries are saddled by this, okay? So if you look at the economic health of the country, so much money is going outwards these pension systems. You can stack all these guys up right here and go back and see again who was incentivized Italy to hang in there. France, why would you stick around and work when you have such a great pension? But there's a price to pay at the government level, and that's what we're looking at right here. Okay, all right. Okay, so China used to guarantee funds from the day you were born to the day you died. They had, a socialized country, and they realized that we have way too many people, way too many older people, that we cannot do this, and so they transitioned. Okay, and so we see right here, okay, that that in the mid 1990s, they decided that that instead of having this complete state-sponsored system, that they decided to replace this cradle to the grave support that I was talking about. So now you put your money into a pool, and they also have this the same kind of concept that we have, which is what's called a defined contribution system. And I went too far, sorry about that. We're going to get right back here. That's what happens when you use the arrow when you shouldn't have, okay? Almost there. There it is, okay? Defined contribution. That means you get paid, let's say you get paid $10,000 for that month, okay? Let's make it more realistic. Let's say I got paid $50,000 for this month, okay? And then I extract $5,000 and I put it away into my own retirement account. There's a huge tax incentive that we're going to learn all about when we do that, okay? And it lowers my taxable income, okay? So, and then when I get older, when I spend it, I'm less likely to spend it so quickly, so I'll be in a lower tax bracket. And but I have to set it aside, Okay, that's called a individual retirement account or a 401k or 401(b). We'll be talking about that later in class. Okay, and so China put that into motion as well. Okay, because this is just like exactly what I was talking about earlier. The issue is, okay, as you go in here from the 80s to 2005, okay, they had the one-child rule, so they basically had fewer and fewer workers to pay for the millions and millions of older people, pensioners, that were no longer working, all right? Less workers, more people drawing from their Social Security system. You see that this is a crash course, okay, unsustainable, and so this means for these guys, a lot more of their income is having to go to pay for these guys, all right? So the incentive now is, if you're these guys right here, sorry, we're not gonna maintain this. You need to start putting away on your own, money away on your own. So these are big, big economic challenges that countries have to figure out, okay? So what I was talking about is the defined contribution, okay? And this is versus, hey, I'm just going to get a pension. I don't have to worry about putting my money away. I'm going to spend every dollar. Okay, no, 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 you got to say. So we look at different countries, okay, and you look again at these countries that have these incredible benefits. Nobody puts any money away. Mutual funds or bundles of stocks. We're going to learn about that. It's the safest way to do retirement investments, and then individual stocks we see right here. But either way, these countries are on such the low end, okay? And then these countries have created the incentive to do this, okay? All righty. So these are, again, expanding opportunities for growth. I'm going to end with this right here and remind you what the life cycle of a worker is. My needs, okay, here I am as a baby. They're not enormous, okay, but the needs grow rapidly. So I am constantly needing to spend. You get into the labor market and you see you have more money than you're spending. It causes growth for your family unit, growth for your own well-being. And then what happens, you see out here 50s, 60s, and 70s, traditionally, this is a Thai worker, then your income is going to decline, but you know your needs do not decline. So how are you going to make up the difference? You're going to make up that difference through public funding, through a pension system, or, as is the case of our country, by doing your own individual retirement account and your IRA, which I'm talking about, or your 401k, and hopefully your income then is actually growing out here, not because you're working labor income, but it's your investment income, okay? All right, so that's the deal on that, my friends. Now let's kind of backtrack here. I just want to show you what's coming down the pike. So we're going to come over here, and if we go back to our weekly discussions, this is one way of doing it, and just kind of get you a feel of how we stack up. So we're going to do some retirement planning right here, okay? So this is where we're going to teach you all about what you need to do, but we're going to look at our country, and sadly, 1 in 3 Americans have nothing in terms of this defined contribution where they put away their own money for their own retirement. So they're completely reliant on, 1 in 3 Americans are completely reliant on Social Security, which is, you're going to see, if you're only making $1,500 a month in Social Security, or even $2,000, or even $4,000, it's still not enough, okay? All right, women, okay, are disproportionately affected, okay, you see here, all right? They have less retirement income, and as we, you know, there are generational differences right here. I'm going to just scroll all the way down here. So we're going to deep dive in this, but this is kind of like, you know, in the discussion, it's the shock and awe of when we look at the median retirement savings. It's pretty tragic, pretty tragic. This was a great recession right here, but you do it by age group, and to think that if we stacked up every American from 56 to 61 years of age and said, okay, let's take a look at how much money you've put away for retirement. In the middle of the road is $20,000. It's mind-blowing, mind-boggling, okay? So it's something that you guys are going to have to change. A lot of you are going to become financial planners, and it'll be great if you do, all right? Okay, boom. So that's, you know, kind of perspective on this week 2. Again, this is an overview. It's wonderful, and then we're going to, as I showed you, we're going to go deep dive into economics and retirement planning later on in the class, because I know a lot of you guys are business majors, okay? We do a lot of other stuff. We do biology too, you see right here. We do caregiving, like I was making mention to, that you're all going to be affected by, okay? All right, where were we? We're in week 2, okay? And of course, what you do, guys, and I should have told you this earlier, but if you watch the how-to video, you'll figure it out. Open your quiz, okay? And as you're going through the information, you'll go back and forth. You open the quiz in a second browser right over here, okay? All right, so this goes over a lot of the demographics I was talking about. A lot less younger people, a lot less fertility, many more older people, and you see that's not sustainable. That's financially, it's going to be a big deal. Which countries are impacted impacted by this most dramatically? This is part of the earlier week's discussion. We're looking at week 1. What we're looking at, these countries had a long time to make the transition, but these countries down here, in terms of developing versus developed countries, don't have much time at all. Okay, so they're having to make gigantic policy changes and personal changes to deal with that. We look at the big population, guys. Okay, China being the most populous country in the world, meaning they have the most elders and that they have the most imbalance in terms of how many workers are contributing to the retirement. India is right behind them, and then and right behind them is in Africa. Are African countries like Nigeria, which is projected to have the most populous country in the world in about 2050. Okay, all righty. So this then we use Japan as the canary in the coal mine, and it's really kind of profound. So watch these videos about what's going on, where the burden of caregiving is on the individual basis, on the community and government basis, where we don't have enough workers to pay for this. We don't have enough people and family units to care for people, and it's again, it's not sustainable. And this is a really kind of impactful article. It's in 2017. If you have a subscription to Business Insider, you can look at it right here. And here's the actual link. We made a PDF file. Okay, so we want you to watch the videos. Okay, we want you to consider all these demographics. Okay, and then you come down here and you make your discussion. Okay, I want you to think about world economy, changes in fertility, and what is your take on all this? All right, awesome, guys. Peace. You know what? Here it is. It's approaching 4:30, a little bit past 4:30, and it hasn't started raining yet. God, it has rained relentlessly. I'm sick of it. And for you surfers, check out this new article that just came in from Surfline. About the wild month we've had of surfing. It's been gigantic. There's Seal Beach. We can look at some of the big waves. There's Seal Beach right there, and just some of the crazy surfing that's been going on. That's my neck of the woods. That's in Orange County. It's a place called Heroines, which is the north end of Salt Creek. You know who lives right up here? Mark Sanchez does. Okay. And he was our old quarterback. And this is just a really cool article. So go into Surfline, check it out, guys. All right, peace. We'll see you guys next time.